Welcome. It is a joy to be with you. If you are enjoying this content, please like, share, and subscribe. It helps light travel. Good morning and welcome. 1,000 welcomes to you all. We are meditating today on the topic kaleidoscopic awareness. And this is part of our series on boundless compassion and healing. So I invite you to joyfully set aside concepts. Joyfully set aside self-judgment. Joyfully set aside self-limitation. And we're inviting ourselves to play with our true nature, which is kaleidoscopic awareness. That's one way to put into words what goes beyond words. So in our kaleidoscopic awareness, prior to the arising of light, we are the stillness. We are that which is immeasurable love, boundless peace, absolute compassion and clarity. We are everywhere, always. We are already one with the heart of God. We are already one with divine peace and divine presence and divine fullness and divine abundance and wholeness and gladness and generosity and healing and everything that we adore. We are already one with that, prior even to the arising of light. Light arises. And light pours forth into time and space. We're part of that arising. We're part of that pouring forth. And we are always inseparable from light and inseparable from the one. So this is in plain sight in the Gayatri Mantra. The radiance projects itself forth into time and space. We're part of that radiance. We're part of that light. And so is the ground beneath your feet, the air that you are breathing, that magnificent chair you're sitting upon, that beautiful behind you're sitting on. It's all part of the radiance. And so is everyone and everything else. And so when we have clarity, we live and move and breathe and have our being as that radiance in motion. And so we are aware of what I'm terming for right now, kaleidoscopic awareness, which is there's always fresh perspective available. There's always new light. There's always new life. There's always laughter. There's always God's joy. There's always God's happiness, completely, fully, perfectly present, independent of what the human is experiencing in time and space. God's abundance is always here. Boundless love is boundless. That means it's here. That means it's been present every moment of our existence. The ones that we love humanly, boundless love is present, and the ones that we don't love humanly, boundless love is present. And so anytime we find ourselves feeling impatience or anger or frustration, or we're feeling like we're bumping up against reality or existence or time and space or other humans or our own body or our emotions or our thoughts, we're invited to take a breath and just shift the kaleidoscope slightly and allow there to be an influx of new light, of new life, of boundless energy, of insight and awareness and kindness. And as we do that, we make healing and compassion possible and present in entirely unprecedented ways. And I want to say something about this. It's always going to be unprecedented, always, because every moment is brand new. And so there has never been a moment exactly like this one. God loves this moment so much. God gave this moment to you and to me and to all of us. But also all the other moments that we call past from a human perspective, from the standpoint of linear time, every moment that we call future from the standpoint of a human brain and linear time, they're all right here in the now, right now. They're available in the now, in that kaleidoscopic awareness. So as we choose love and compassion, as we choose to just shift the kaleidoscope slightly and allow there to be this influx of divine love, divine abundance, and divine joy, divine happiness, divine gladness, divine forgiveness, divine healing, that pours forth into the past also, and into the future also. Human history gets healed. It gets renamed and reclaimed, and we create new human futures every time we do this in the now. And so for each of us, our obligation, as soon as we understand this, we have a sacred stewardship, a sacred duty to pay attention. How am I naming and claiming the past right now? Because I am actually creating more of that in the future. What I name and claim right now, and the way I name it and claim it right now, I am actually producing that for my children and my grandchildren. And I am sending that back in time to my ancestors. So am I naming and claiming a life I love? Am I naming and claiming joy and freedom and healing and compassion and awareness? Am I naming and claiming a green and golden and good and glad and beautiful and freeing world? Because that's what I love. That's what I would love to give to the young people. That's what I would love to share with the ancestors. And this is true for each of us, for every human on the planet. And I'm about to share some teachings, which we will have so much fun playing with kaleidoscopic awareness in relation to these teachings. They make this clear from their different standpoints, from their different perspectives. So the first teaching comes from Hildegard von Bingen. And she's talking about song. So she was actually one of the first composers. She lived about 100 years after musical notation was created. And not only was she one of the first women composers, she was one of the first composers. And so she understood that sound is creative. And she actually understood all of time and space as divine sound, taking that form of you, taking that form of me, taking that form of the air and the mountains and the trees and the waters, taking the form of all of this. And so she also definitely understood that Jesus, whom she loved, was sound. And the sound was spoken and became that flesh. And so for each of us, you are divine sound. You have been spoken. And you have become this flesh. You have become this life. And so what she says is, sweet verdancy, which is a word she made up because she found that existing words didn't quite explain what she was talking about. So she's talking about sweet greenness, sweet life, sweet divine energy, sweet abundance. Sweet verdancy released the word in the virgin's womb, where it took on flesh like a honeycomb built out from honey. And so the divine sound, the divine energy, the word takes flesh like a honeycomb built out from honey. You are part of God's honeycomb. Your flesh is part of that divine sweetness, built out like a honeycomb. You are the divine sweetness in motion, and so is everyone and everything else. And so now we're inviting ourselves to live in that awareness. And to live in the awareness, I'm starting to move to a teaching from the Bhagavad Gita, that what we speak has creative potency. What I speak helps create direct effects in my experience and in others' experience as well. And this is true for every human on the planet. That's part of what she's talking about. We're all part of the one honeycomb. The words that I speak go out into the honeycomb. They affect the others who are co-creating in this honeycomb of divine energy and awareness. So again, it's back to that, am I speaking words of sweetness, words of reality, words that I would love to experience the effects of, because I will directly feel the effects of all that I help to create. So I take full responsibility for my thoughts, my words, my deeds, my choices, my actions, my intentions, my motives, all of it. And I offer it all to the divine. And I ask the divine to help me create in wisdom and in joy and in boundless love and in awareness according to what is highest and according to what is best. So the Bhagavad Gita says, your faith is in accordance with your present state of unfoldment. Faith is a constituent element of human existence. You are what your faith is. What you are speaking, what you are believing is helping create your existence, your life, your experience, and it's having effects on other humans whom you are interacting with. So again, to come back to, I am going to fill myself with faith in divine wisdom, in boundless love, in compassion, in healing, in harmony, in joy, in freedom, in the fullness of, I trust God's peace in me. And I trust God's peace in the hearts of everyone else. I trust God's presence in me. And I trust God's presence in the hearts of everyone else. I trust God's protection in me. And I trust God's protection in the hearts of everyone else. Notice what happens. There's no more fear. And so one of the basic challenges that humans face, being in a body, interacting with other humans, melts away. So each of us is inviting ourselves to love ourselves forward. If we become aware that we are experiencing fear, we are invited to love ourselves forward. And I've basically just given us a practice. I trust God's peace, God's presence, God's protection in me. I trust God's peace, God's presence, God's protection in everyone else. And then we will be able to move in faith and trust and confidence in a human body, in time and space, interacting wisely and with boundless love with other human bodies in time and space. So I'm going to share a couple of more teachings. These come from the Upanishads. They're saying the same things, and magnificently. They're singing the same truths magnificently. This is from the Svetashvatara Upanishad. O thou indwelling self, and the self here is with a capital S, so it's speaking to the divine in us. O thou indwelling self, thou giver of life to this body, within thy almighty power rests the good of thy creation. The good is already here. It's already here. We don't have to create it. We're not separate from it. We're never distant from it. We're opening to the good of divine creation. This is also like saying this world is held in divine hands, in divine presence, in divine protection, in divine caring, always. If we think it's up to humans, we're going to be really tired and really worried and really afraid and really exhausted, like all the time. But as soon as we come back to this, within thy almighty power rests the good of thy creation, we're good. The divine is saying to us, I've got this. I've got you. You've got this. Everything's already okay. So align with the all-rightness. The all-rightness is always there within you. And the all-rightness is always there, no matter how it feels humanly, no matter what it looks like from the outside. The all-rightness is already there. The good is there in the almighty power, in the divine creation. It's already there. We're just playing our part faithfully and joyfully and generously and gladly and wisely. And that's all we ever can do, is play our part and trust that this whole pageant is held in divine love. It's held in divine goodness. It's held in divine wisdom. It's held in divine creation. So that's just one sentence. I'm demonstrating what Premita said earlier. O thou indwelling self, thou giver of life to this body, within thy almighty power rests the good of thy creation. Just one sentence. It's all right there. Guide us by thy wisdom. May we always remember thy presence within and around us. May thy protection and peace be upon all humanity and upon thy entire creation. I'm going to read just for the joy of it, because the love and the beauty is so palpable in these verses. Verily, fire, wind, and water, the sun, the moon, and the stars are Brahman in his divine manifestation. He is the creator and the Lord of creation. Woman and man, the youth, the maiden, the aged with feeble hands, are all thyself in thy infinite manifestation. The blue bird with brown eyes, the green parrot with red eyes, the clouds with their lightning flashes, the seas and the seasons are thyself manifested everywhere. Thou art the one reality which is without beginning, yet all have their origin in thee. So all the times, all the tides, all the seasons, all the humans, they are the supreme in the form of that. And so we are just invited to recognize the supreme in the form of all that we've ever witnessed, all that we've ever experienced, all that we've ever participated in, all that we've ever helped create. That is the supreme. Dwelling within this body are the supreme self, the individual self, and the potencies of thought, volition, and feeling. The individual self, by means of the potencies of thought, volition, and feeling, creates and lives in a little world of its own desires and pleasures. But finally, the indwelling supreme self, the true self, by its inherent power of illumination, renounces all bondage of limitations and regains freedom. So among the teachings that those verses share are a wonderful reminder that within each of us, we can identify with the little self. And that's the selfish self, the one that's afraid, the one that feels cut off, the one that feels like it has to be in control. It has to make other people do its bidding. And then there is the supreme self, which is the energy of harmony and the energy of cooperation and the energy of caring and the energy of boundless love. And so this is saying that each human has this choice. Until we're completely established in the supreme self, we have this choice. Am I identifying with my individual little world of my own desires and pleasures, or am I expanding into cooperation and into the supreme self and into illumination? Am I letting go of all bondage of limitations in order to regain freedom? So every human is invited to connect with that inner energy of illumination. It is within every human, and it guides us to freedom. It guides us beyond the limitations and the bondage of the separate individual self. So we all know the difference. If we are identifying with the limitations, we will feel afraid. We will feel judgment of ourselves and or others. We will feel not safe to be in the world. We will feel not safe to feel human emotions or have a human body or have a human mind or to be here in a human life. And then when we remember our expanded true light and awareness, we know I am safe in this body, in time and space. I am safe feeling human emotions in this human heart, in time and space. I am safe having human thoughts in this brain, in time and space. I am safe being in physical space with other humans, being in a body and interacting with other humans in a body. So I have a couple of stories, and they're really beautiful stories. They're true stories, they're contemporary stories, and they're stories about how each of us is always connected to the honeycomb of divine sweetness, which is also the energy of divine support. The universe always saying to each of us, I've got your back. You've got this. Everything is already all right. It's okay. That's always there. And our own feelings of self-judgment can cut us off from being aware that that divine network of support, that honeycomb of sweetness is always there. And so both of these stories are about exactly that. And so the one story, I'll do my best to share them really quickly. The one story is a mom who has a toddler and a newborn and who needs to go to the grocery store. So she takes her toddler and her newborn to the grocery store. They're just a little ways into the grocery store and the toddler starts melting down, which makes the newborn melt down, which makes the toddler melt down more. And so she's been able to get like almost no groceries. And she's like, oh my God, I can't even go to the grocery store. I can't do this. How can I do this? And she gets up to the checkout counter and she's got the toddler still melting down and the baby still melting down and she's kind of melting down. There's like a few little tears in her eyes. She notices the woman in line ahead of her is looking at her. And her voice, her inner voice starts going, oh my God, and now I'm being judged Like, I can't even go to the grocery store without being judged. Like, I need to go home. I can't even be out in public. And the woman in front of her says to her, honey, no one really says how hard it is. You're doing a great job. You're going to be fine, and it's going to get better. And she burst into tears. So all the judgment was in her. And that story makes visible, like, that network of divine support, it's there. And so we are inviting ourselves to open to it, to allow ourselves to receive. And we will burst into tears because we ourselves have been cutting ourselves off from the honeycomb of divine abundance and sweetness, which is everywhere, always. So if we're not feeling the honeycomb of divine abundance and sweetness, that's on me. There's nobody else. It's me. And so the other story also makes this clear. So it's, again, a story of a mom with a child. And in this case, it's a mom who's a single mom. And she has her daughter, who's about 8, and they're having dinner at a restaurant on a Friday night. And one table over from her is like, have you ever seen those really long tables that are occupied by like a whole family of 3 generations of people, like 12 people? Okay, so it's like that. Like just massive family energy right next to her. And then she's like, hi, I'm a single mom, and I have my kid, and we're having dinner by ourselves on a Friday. And she notices the grandfather of the family keeps looking over at her. She's like, what's he looking at? Is he noticing I don't have a ring on my finger? Is he noticing I got my purse at the thrift store? Is he noticing my hair is like really in need of a cut? And the whole dinner, he's like looking over at her. She's like, what? She just keeps focusing on her daughter and loving her daughter and telling her daughter stories. And then after that entire gigantic wall of family energy pays their bill and departs, the waiter comes up to her and she says, can I have the check, please? And he says, no, I'm sorry, I can't give you the check because it's already been taken care of. The man at the next table over said to tell you he was raised by a single mom. He knows how hard it is. He knows you're doing a good job. And again, she just burst into tears. And the divine sweetness was right there. The divine support was right there. The divine love, the divine honeycomb of connectedness and awareness. The universe saying to each of us, God's love is boundless. It is measureless. It is infinite. It is everywhere. It is always. Please don't cut yourself off from the flow of limitless kindness. Please don't cut yourself off from the flow of absolute abundance. Please don't cut yourself off from the flow of understanding and caring and compassion. And then also notice a couple things about that story. Sometimes we're the one who's being self-judging. We're the one who's like, I can't do this. I feel cut off. What's wrong with me? Why are people looking at me? How can I exist in time and space? Like, I'm really afraid just being myself in a human body. How can I do this? That's the universal human call. And those stories make it very, very clear. Each of us, no matter who we are, no matter what our body is, no matter what our life is, we are here to be in a human body, in time and space, interacting with other humans fearlessly, comfortably. Our only task is to be open-hearted. Our only task is to trust the presence of that honeycomb of divine sweetness and divine energy. And sometimes we are on the I'm opening to receive. And so for each of us right now, I invite you to join me in this. I open my heart to accept and allow myself to feel and allow myself to receive God's infinite, boundless love and abundance and kindness and awareness and caring and compassion. And then the flip side of that is, once we feel that, we will ineluctably, spontaneously, effortlessly be the kindness and the wisdom that was expressed by the woman in the checkout line and by the man in the restaurant. So each of us is part of this dynamic flow, this incredible circulation of kaleidoscopic awareness. And so I'm inviting you right now, just see if you can feel your own kaleidoscopic awareness. Feel yourself not confined to this body. Expand your awareness so you become aware of your light, the life in you, which is here right now in this body, animating it, but also is here prior to this body and also is here after this body. And then see if you can turn the kaleidoscope slightly into expanded awareness, welcoming new light, new life, new laughter, letting yourself be happy, letting yourself feel joy exactly as you are. Nothing has to change, just exactly as you are. Kaleidoscopic awareness, just shift it slightly again and allow ever fresh, completely unprecedented, boundless, pure divine love to pour into you. And then notice not only does it heal the human heart where we ourselves have been judging ourselves or feeling not enough or feeling conflicted or feeling cut off or feeling separated. All of that is illusionary. Shift the kaleidoscope, allow the light to pour in. Allow it to help you feel directly. How does it feel when I feel connected to God's limitless, boundless love? How does it feel when I feel connected directly to God's limitless, boundless abundance? How does it feel when I feel connected directly to God's incredible joy and happiness and compassion and awareness? And how does this energy spontaneously, wisely, with caring and gladness and grace express through me, right where I am, in this time, in this place? And I'm just going to invite us in closing for right now. Feel kaleidoscopic awareness in yourself and also feel your own amazing physical presence. That energy of divine sweetness, divine abundance, divine greenness takes form as your flesh. Kaleidoscopic awareness is present in every cell of your body. So see what it feels like to be aware of being in a body and being aware of kaleidoscopic awareness. And now see what it feels like in consciousness. Keep your eyes closed, but reach out and gently greet the kaleidoscopic awareness that is present in everyone who is currently meditating. And if you watch this in the future or listen to this in the future, in the now, you will instantly connect with everyone who is meditating. And we are already in the now connecting with you. There is no distance and there is no time in the divine. And so notice what it's like to greet the other wonderful beings who are meditating on the level of kaleidoscopic awareness. I'm being polite. I'm not whooping out loud with joy, but inside I'm whooping out loud with joy. And so just notice what happens. And notice how it's possible then to greet kaleidoscopic awareness in every human on the planet and to do it instantly. And notice that when you do, you are living the teaching of the Upanishads. You are aware of God's presence, God's peace, and God's protection in you and in every human on the planet. And now, imagine, what is it like to be comfortable being in a human body, connected always to kaleidoscopic awareness? Being a loving, dynamic expression of God's boundless, pure love and God's boundless generosity, God's boundless abundance, God's boundless caring, God's boundless insight and understanding. And now, thank God, it is so. God bless us all.